I mean, I've said it before and I'll say it again, Luke. America doesn't work because they have this founding myth that the founding fathers were these fantastic, genius people who invented the best democracy in the world in the late 1700s. And they're like, it's the best thing ever. So if you're like, no, because some of it actually doesn't really, it's got problems with it. And people are like, no, the American democracy is the best.
Yeah, it's like...
God bless America.
It's like if you say, wait, our system doesn't really make sense if you're an American, it's like blasphemous. Like you're going against God.
It's genuinely, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, you were talking about gerrymandering before, Michael, and there was a perfect example of that in the state of Ohio. Republicans won 52% of the vote, I believe, in the House across Ohio, yet they won 12 out of 16 congressional seats. So think about that. They won 75% of the seats with only 52% of the vote. That is just outrageous. And one of the big reasons why the Democrats did well is because Pennsylvania, which was gerrymandered to fuck, it was struck down in the courts in Pennsylvania. The Republicans gerrymandering, which helped the Democrats massively in Pennsylvania. So yeah, I mean, there's also the Senate where obviously in the Senate every state has 2 senators, and so there's 100 senators in total. Seems fair and all. And it was probably back in 1776 when they devised the system, or 1783, maybe they did it then. But
yeah, I'm not sure when they did this.
Well, it was because every state has an equal say. It's like, okay, one state may have more popular, and maybe more populous than another, but every state can feel equal. But then, what happens when there's literally 45 million people in California, like 700,000 people in Wyoming? Like, what's going to happen then? And here's the thing, like, moving forward, just because like there's going to be so many states with like so little population, and obviously a lot of people are going to migrate to cities, big cities like they've been doing forever in the Western developed world. Basically, you're going to have a situation in which a massive amount of the population is crammed into like 10 states, and there's like 40 states with just nobody living in them, which has got exactly the same amount of representation, or even obviously 4 times more amount of representation. So that's going to be fun.
And the stupid thing about it is like whether or not a state exists, or whether or not a group of places is 1 state or 10 states or whatever, is kind of arbitrary.
It is.
For example, you could have New England as a state, but instead it's 6 states. And on the flip side, you could have California as 6 states, but instead it's 1 state.
Did you hear that thing?
So it's kind of like just...
Sorry, did you hear that thing about California being remade into 3 new states?
Yeah, I've heard like there's been all sorts of... I actually heard a 6-state proposal, which was like, it had North California, South California, etc. So, like there's all these talks about like splitting up states, but that's the thing, like ultimately anyone can split up a state or merge a state, so it's kind of like, it would make sense in a way if you said like, I don't know, I mean, they need something bigger than states for it to work. Like if they were like, okay, well, the Southwest needs to be represented and the Northwest needs to be represented and the Midwest needs to be represented, that would make sense. But the problem is like it's completely arbitrary, like I say, whether or not an area has 10 states or 1 state. So I think we've spoken enough about that.
Yes, we have. Basically, America's...
So save that for the politics.
America's fucked.
Back up, chump, Biggie Smalls rips it quick and kicks it quick. You know how black niggas get. With the hoods, fatigues, with the boots, with trees. Flipping trees, making crazy cheese. Hitting buckshots at niggas that open spots on the avenue. Take my loot and I'm bagging. Pimping hoes that drive Volvos and rodeos. Flash the roll, make a wet in they pantyhose. Damn, a nigga style is unorthodox. Grip the Glock when I walk down the crowded block. Just in case a nigga wanna act out, I just black out and blow the motherfucking back out. That's a real nigga for you.
Hello and welcome to Select and Reflect, the movie review podcast where we look at films that have come out relatively recently at the cinema and see if they still hold up upon a second watch. I am your host Michael, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Luke, and this week we are looking at The Grinch. I know what you're thinking. Why are you looking at The Grinch when it's not even close to Christmas? As we all know, the Christmas season begins immediately after Thanksgiving.
Yeah, it's not even War Christmas yet.
Yeah, exactly. So crazy that they're doing it now, but it's because those guys at Illumination Animation have released a new Grinch film, and we're celebrating the release of that by looking at the Jim Carrey version of the Grinch, directed by, I know who it's directed by actually, but I'll let you say that because that's what you say. Luke, why don't you tell us a thing or two about the Grinch?
Well, Michael, first thing I'll say, it's not actually called the Grinch, it's called How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, big difference. Also known as Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It's a 2000 American Christmas fantasy comedy film directed by Ron Howard and written by Jeffrey Price and Peter Seaman. It's based on the Dr. Seuss book of 1957, which is called How the Grinch Stole Christmas, and it was the first film to be adapted into a full-length feature film from a Dr. Seuss book. As mentioned by you, Michael, the film stars Jim Carrey, Jeffrey Tambor, Christine Baranski, Bill Irwin, Molly Shannon, and Taylor Momsen. It was released on, November the 8th, 2000 in Los Angeles, and November the 17th in 2000, so exactly 18 years ago to the day that we're recording this. How fascinating. It's narrated by Anthony Hopkins, by the way. I feel like I should mention that.
Yeah, you should, because I actually didn't know, but I kind of felt like I recognised the voice.
Yeah. And the budget, Michael, do you want to have a guess at this?
Okay.
You've been pretty bad in recent weeks.
Yeah, well, actually, I think I haven't been too bad at the budget. I've just been really bad at the box office. And I feel like I can foresee myself already being bad at the box office on this one too, because I've got no idea. But I think the budget's kind of easier because the budget isn't quite as arbitrary. Like, whether or not a film does well can be like, you can never tell, but the budget you can usually tell. I'm going to go for, I think, it's got to be, I'm going to just go for 35 million.
Oh, Michael, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear.
I'm so
sad. The budget for How the Grinch Stole Christmas was $123 million. Dude, that is a lot.
I shouldn't have spoke about how, like, that is a lot. I've got to have some defense.
Yeah, I was surprised by that as well, but yeah, you're almost 100 million off there. See if you can get closer with the box office.
Oh, goodness me. I think that the high price tells me it's got to be quite good. Also, it had Jim Carrey in it. I feel like Jim Carrey probably accounted for the high price. I think Jim Carrey is the kind of guy who likes money. So, yeah, I think that's probably why it costs so much. And I'm going to guess that also brought in quite a big box office. I'm going to go for, I don't know, I'm going to go for 400 million.
345 million, Michael.
Good.
So that's not that bad a guess.
Alright, so I was kind of just thinking to myself, like, it's nice to be able to go quite high, because with the horrors, I was shooting quite low, and it was a disaster for those last two. Anyway, so that's good. Do you have any nitpicks, Luke?
I do, but I think we should first discuss the actual plot of the movie.
Well, we never discuss it, Luke. You just tell us it.
Yeah, okay, fine, I'll tell you. So, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. The Grinch is pissed off at Christmas, he steals Christmas, then he gives it back. Easy.
Oh, wow.
That's how the Grinch stole
those folks at Wikipedia don't fuck around.
Just a bit of background, actually, I think I should say, on How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Because the film is based on
you have to start the podcast over.
Many additions were made to the storyline to bring it up to feature length, including some information.
There were things added to this film?
Yeah, crazy, I know. About the backstory of the title character and reworking the story's minor character, Cindy Lou, who... No, shit. Is her name Cindy Lou Who or Cindy Lou Who as a main character? I believe her name is Cindy Lou Who.
I think everyone has the surname Who in this world, which is a bit like Korea, where everyone's called Kim.
The minor character, Cindy Lou Who, as a main character. So most of the rhymes that were used in the book were also used in the film, though some of the lines were to some degree changed and several new rhymes were put in. The film also borrowed some music and character elements that originated in the 1966 animated television special. And here we go. So it became the 6th highest grossing film in 2000. Pretty good.
Hold on.
But I think more importantly, it's the 2nd highest grossing holiday film of all time. Behind, can you guess, Michael?
Die Hard.
No.
Oh, Daddy's Home 2. Daddy's Home 1.
Come on. It's easy.
What is it? One of the really old classic ones?
No.
Love Actually.
No.
1990. Oh,
yeah.
The Tim Burton one?
No.
No. Oh God, what is it? Oh no. It's going to be so obvious.
Yeah, it is. He one of the actors was in a recent Red Letter Media video.
Goodness me, I haven't seen, like, I hate to admit it, Luke, but I haven't seen a Red Letter Media video in a while either.
Well, it's fair, it was like a month ago. This is great.
1990s Christmas film.
Yep.
In
most famous one ever.
Specifically 1990.
Yeah, that's when it came out, 1990. Most famous Christmas film ever.
Most famous Christmas film ever made by a human being.
The sequel stars Donald Trump.
Oh my god. Wow. Yeah, I know what it is. I'm bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Home Alone.
Home Alone.
Yeah.
There we go. I was like, okay, he's eventually gonna get this, you know.
It's funny that it was the sequel stars Donald Trump that I was like, oh, yeah.
Home Alone.
Wow, I can't believe I've forgotten that film.
Yeah. So, How the Grinch Stole Christmas is the second highest grossing holiday film, just behind Home Alone.
Home Alone's pretty good.
Behind. Sorry.
Home Alone's pretty good.
Yeah,
Have you ever seen the it's Home Alone? It's like the Home Alone film, but it's cut to be a trailer for a horror film. So it's like, when you go into this house, and it's kind of got like this gun peeking out of the mailbox. You don't come out.
Yeah.
Great.
So anyway, despite the mixed reviews that often compared the film unfavorably to the 1966 special, it won the Academy Award for Best Makeup, and was also nominated for Best Art Direction and Best Costume Design. So it did well at the Oscars. You know, who saw that coming, eh?
Yeah, well, when was the last time that a critically panned film did well because of their set design and their costumes?
Yeah. Good point, Michael. Good point. Very good. Anyway, did you like this movie, Michael?
I didn't think this film was good, but in a sense, I did like it.
Okay, I don't know what you really mean by that.
What I mean is, like I enjoyed this film. I'll kind of get into it maybe in a bit more detail at some point, but in fact, I'm going to say it now, because this is what I was thinking when I was watching this film. I know, actually, no, I'm not going to, because I know we're going to have a good opportunity to bring this up later. So for now, I'll just say, like, I was watching this film and I was like, this isn't a good film, but it's fine. Like, I'm fine. There's nothing wrong with this. It's fine. Okay,
well, I'll have to disagree with you a bit, Michael. I would say I didn't really enjoy this film, and it was pretty shit. That's my interpretation.
I didn't realize you hated Christmas.
Yeah, I do. Now, surely if I hated Christmas, I'd like this movie.
Well, but the thing is, like, you wouldn't like it because, you know, the Grinch becomes... It's kind of like how... Well, actually, no. I was going to say it's like how racists hate American History X because he becomes a non-racist at the end. But weirdly, racists like American History X, so...
Do they?
Yeah. And I'm using this as an opportunity to compare you to racists because you don't like the Grinch. No, yeah, they like it because they're like, they don't really care. Because I think it's secretly because they want to get bum raped in jail. You know, because they're such cucks.
Okay then. Well, fair point.
Anyway, nitpicks. How many you got, Luke?
I think I've got 4, Michael.
This is really interesting because I only have 1. I don't usually, and it was literally, the thing is, okay, it was quite early on, and then after that, I think it was an example of just like I was just so inoffended by this film, I couldn't be bothered to come up with nitpicks, but so I wrote down the first one. It's basically, the Grinch pushes, Lucy Liu? Cindy Liu.
No, Cindy Liu.
Cindy Liu. Lucy Liu is, Lucy Liu's,
an Asian actor. Asian American actor. So, yeah,
the Grinch pushes Cindy Lou into that thing, which is going to, like, crush her, you know, with this massive stamp that's going to smash, and it's going to kill her to death. Mm-hmm. And then he's like, oh, I'll rescue her then. So he takes her out. You know, it's like, I'll rescue you. And then she's like, he can't be that bad if he saved me. Which is kind of it's a pretty low bar to clear, like, straight up murder. She's like, oh, he can't be that bad if, you know, he didn't kill me. So basically what I'm saying is she is definitely gonna settle for a guy who abuses her. And you're like, well, he's not that bad. I mean, he didn't beat me that hard, and I was giving him a lot of lip. That's Cindy Lou's future.
Okay.
Anyway, Luke, let's hear your 4
pretty
nitpicks.
Dark. The thing is, I don't think you'd find anyone like that in Whoville, so I think she'll be okay.
Yeah, I know, but what if she travels the world?
Yeah.
The snowflake.
Everyone's just so innocent and white.
Yeah. Would you say that they're the snowflake generation?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. That's clever, that.
Yeah, and the Grinch is Donald Trump, disrupting the snowflake generation.
Oh, God. Yeah, you could view the Grinch because he's green and everyone else is obviously white because he's oppressed.
Yeah, it's true.
That's how I look at it. You know?
Yeah.
If you want to look at it from a sociological perspective, then yeah, that's the way to go. But anyway, onto my nitpicks. So my first one is the fact that Cindy Lou does not look like a Who.
Well,
she's got a normal nose, and I know the mayor says later on in the movie you haven't grown into your nose. Well, that's bullshit, Michael, because I swear some of the babies actually had those kind of noses, you know, when they were floating down from the sky.
Yeah.
So,
have you ever thought maybe they're actually Jews? That would be the opposite, actually. If it was because they have tiny noses, so it would really be your nose hasn't grown into you yet if they were Jews.
Have you got to mention the Jews in every single one of these that we do?
Yeah, I don't know why. There's something deep inside me that just wants to constantly bring them up.
Yeah, you're like Cartman.
Yeah, exactly. I am.
Okay. So that's my first nitpick. Second nitpick. Why is there toxic waste in Whoville? Is there like is it like a Springfield thing? Like they got a nuclear power plant
because
somewhere?
Everyone knows that nuclear power is the best system to have because renewable energy is a scam and it's a fantasy, but building 10 million nuclear power stations is totally realistic. That's my impression of somebody who thinks they're intelligent for supporting nuclear power. That's one of my pet peeves. People, we know what it is. It's an example of people who think that just because they support something that most people are against, they're more rational. They're like, oh yeah, nuclear power, that's the best thing ever. But actually, Luke, it's not. It's incredibly expensive, and it wouldn't be worth it.
Yeah, no, don't worry, Michael. I'm well versed in nuclear power.
Yeah,
I did geography at A level.
But you know, all the people who watch this, the many millions of people who watch this, they're going to comment below like, "Oh, these two people, they just don't understand nuclear power. They're anti-science." No, and that's why I hate Whoville.
Okay, but why is there toxic waste in Whoville though?
Because they are filled with people who are just like that. They're filled with the kind of people who say that they support environmentalism, but they don't vote for the Green Party because the Green Party is, anti-science because they don't support nuclear power and are vegans.
Okay. Didn't really answer my question, but whatever. We'll move on to my next one.
That is the commentary. The film is commenting on people who aren't vegan.
Okay. Next one is, how does Cindy Lou not recognize the Grinch when he's in her house stealing the Christmas tree? So he's pretending to be Santa, and that's what the rhyme says, but then he sticks his head through the Christmas tree so she can see his face. And apparently she still thinks he's Santa. So it's just awful, Michael.
Yeah, admittedly, I think they accidentally wrote into it a scene where he sticks his head through, and he wasn't supposed to do that. You know what it was? It was probably Jim Carrey improvising, and then
fucking Jim Carrey.
Yeah,
ruining the consistency of the movie.
Yeah,
has to always be the center of attention. He
does. Anyone would think he was the main character.
Yeah, so that was stupid. And my last one, when Grinch and Cindy Lou are coming down the mountain into Whoville, why does the Grinch cut his brakes off? Why does he do that?
I don't know.
I don't know either, Michael. He just says, I can't remember. He mocks Cindy Lou for thinking it's a stupid idea. Yeah, he just cuts his brakes off. I don't know, the guy's clearly messed up in the head, and he may have stolen Christmas from Whoville, but that right there, that was pretty dangerous. He should get locked up for that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, all the other stuff about not liking Christmas, it's understandable, but cutting your brakes, you're going down a mountain, that's just you gotta be a bit crazy to do that.
It was a wild card move.
Yeah.
Every group needs a wild card.
Gain no advantage. So yeah, those are my nitpicks. Those are my 4. Now I think we should discuss the plot.
Yes. So the plot. So what do you wanna? You as the critical person, Luke. You can start us off.
Okay. So as I mentioned before when discussing the plot, the plot is calling it wafer thin. May be too much of a compliment, because there is literally nothing to this movie. The Grinch doesn't like Christmas. We have a flashback of him in his younger days, not getting the girl and being picked on at school. Then he decides he doesn't like Christmas. I mean, I don't know why, but I'll get onto that later. And then he goes up into the mountain, just lives there, doesn't like Christmas, then comes down, steals Christmas, then realizes he made a mistake, then gives Christmas back. And that's it. Now,
it's a classic tale of redemption.
Yep, classic. So, ultimately, I think, the plot is just cliched and boring, and you may say, well, it's a kids' movie, so that's what you'd expect, Try and keep everything simple so they can follow what's going on. But I was just really disappointed, like, there was nothing more to this movie. Like I said, the Grinch doesn't like Christmas, he steals Christmas, he gives it back. I thought there was maybe going to be a corruption scandal with the mayor, or something like that. But no, there's just nothing. It's like the bare bones of a movie, the bare bones of a story. They really did not bother to come up with anything else. They probably spent like 5 minutes on the script. So those are my thoughts on this movie, Michael, and the plot.
I have a few things. Well, actually, first of all, I did have something to say about the Grinch's backstory, but I think based on you saying that you had some things to say about it, and implying that you were probably going to talk about them later when we talk about the Grinch, I will also talk about those things later when we talk about the Grinch. I don't have that much to say about the plot. Of course, the thing is, the plot, it comes from taking a very small thing and stretching it out.
You can say, the original work isn't that long, so, it's going to be hard to make it into a movie. Well, then don't make it into a movie.
Yes.
I'm not going to, give you a pass because the original story is short.
Yeah.
Don't make it into the movie, or if you are going to make it into a movie, put a bit more effort into it.
You know what it reminds me of, Luke? It reminds me of course, in the 1970s, Ralph Bakshi made a short little film about a very short series of very short stories called The Lord of the Rings. And Peter Jackson came along, and he wanted to make them into feature-length films. So he added all of this stuff. All of this stuff about, plots and characters. Mm-hmm. Ralph Bakshi didn't need any of that. Just people running around, little music playing in the background. And, and I think many people were very angry at Peter Jackson. They said, why are you bastardizing Ralph Bakshi's legacy?
You know
Peter
what, Michael?
Jackson.
I was just about to use that word, bastardizing.
Yes.
Peter Jackson just took a shit all over.
Yeah, with all of his
legacy.
extra crap. And then he released this special edition. But actually, on a serious note, it does kind of remind me of how, how it was impossible to structure The Hobbit as a three-part trilogy? I was about to say three-part trilogy, that's a bit redundant, but structure The Hobbit as a trilogy. And it was kind of funny because, it was... I actually think the problems with the first two, The Hobbits, were more general bad filmmaking than there not being enough stuff. Because, I think they could have just kind of made it a slow-paced film and got away with it. But it really, in that third one, I mean, I've tried to watch that third one 3 times now, and literally, I just think, what is happening? They're just, the battle starts 15 minutes in, and you're like, this is just going to be this for the next 10 hours.
Yep.
So, but yeah, I mean, okay. So that's kind of a subject, but it gives an example of people who take very short things and try to stretch them out. So
and fail.
I mean, I guess there are some things I was pretty okay with. I mean, obviously it's a simple plot. So the bits that kind of work quite well. I guess one thing I think they should have done is possibly spent more time on the Grinch stealing Christmas, because they could have just spent a bit more time with him kind of planning it out. I mean, not too much. I'm not saying they could have padded the whole film out with that, but they could have got a couple of 5 minutes in, when he's actually doing the thing that he does in the original book, and then they wouldn't have had to have had some bullshit earlier on. So first of all, that's my first comment. They should have just thought I don't know, just come up with something for him to do that was relevant to that plan. But I will say this: I was pretty okay with the decision of they make the Grinch. They're like, hey, we'll make the Grinch the king of Christmas. We'll make the Grinch the Prince of Fools, like in Hunchback of Notre Dame. And then he kind of has a bit of a rant. I mean, I don't know how I felt about the rant, but I like the idea of having him go down and do stuff like that. And I was pretty much okay with that. The one thing that I did find to be I had problems with, which we'll talk about, is the backstory, and that takes up quite a bit of the film. So
yes, it does. It goes on for quite well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think ultimately, I think they could have gone ahead and moved the Grinch Stealing Christmas forward a bit, and just I think they could have found ways to stretch out the last bit. Maybe stretch out the Grinch's redemption arc. I mean, again, obviously I'm not a screenwriter, and I agree with you that really what they should have done is not do it. But but really, I don't know.
Well, there's 345 million reasons why they did, I guess.
Yes. I will say this though. I didn't hate it. I just thought a lot of it was unnecessary, and I kind of was okay with it towards the end. After the Grinch actually started stealing Christmas, I was like, okay, this is okay. But yeah, I have one final comment on the plot actually. Or maybe it's a comment on the plot. I don't know. But I'm going to say it anyway because it's one thing they added, which they added to kind of give the film more depth, and that is they made the Who's really materialistic, and that is an interesting addition because, of course, in the original, the Grinch story, the whole thing of the Who's is they're just perfect, they're happy, they love one another, they just a really cheery bunch, and then in this one they complicate it up a bit by first of all having all the kids at that school. Again, this is just kind of a vague comment on the Grinch's backstory, but all the kids at that school are, arseholes. Well, I guess kids in general are arseholes, but still, who kids shouldn't be arseholes? Also, do you think there's any doctors called Doctor Who?
Oh, good point.
Maybe they're Time Lords. Anyway, but then obviously you've got this thing of they're competing over the lights. The Christmas lights, I'm gonna have the best Christmas lights. And then they're all really materialistic. And obviously this is a town populated by suburban, middle American white women. And
yeah, they've lost the true meaning of Christmas, haven't they, Michael?
Yeah, which is, like I say, it's an interesting addition.
But doesn't that mean the Grinch is
justified
the hero?
Yeah, that's the problem, because obviously my two comments come to a head in a way that I didn't plan. Because like I was saying, I like the idea of having the Grinch be, he's nominated to become Christmas man or whatever. I don't know, for the Who. Yeah. What's that thing called? The Who celebration.
Who the fuck cares?
I'm excited.
That's what it's called. Who the fuck cares?
Who the fuck cares? I know you just hilarious. Anyway, so and then also the Who's being materialistic. Of course, the Grinch goes on a rant where he's like, "You are all materialistic, and I don't like it." And
he's right.
Yeah. Again, the problem is I come back to. I keep wanting to bring this up, so we'll talk about the Grinch soon. But it comes back to the Grinch's backstory. It completely contradicts the Grinch's backstory, because the whole thing is, I mean, we'll talk about the Grinch's backstory later, but here he's saying, here's why I hate Christmas, because you all claim to love Christmas, but you're hypocrites. And it's that would be a fine motivation on its own. I'd be okay with that, but yeah. And then it would kind of be you've got what is the best villain? The best villain is somebody who has a relatable motive. So that would, I'd be fine with that. But the problem is, it isn't his actual motivation. So it's kind of just I guess this is my final thoughts. One of the problems, and this is kind of what I mean when I say that I don't think the problem with the Hobbit films is that they had all the stuff in it. I think it's just that all the stuff was terrible. One of the problems with stretching out a film is that I think you become more concerned with having the stuff there than you do with having it do or mean anything. So this guy, these people, when they were writing their script in 5 minutes, at one point they said, what if the Grinch becomes, he's nominated to be Mr. Christmas Man, and then he has a rant at them for being materialistic. And also, what if, we're trying to set up the Who's, we have, there's, they're really materialistic because they're setting up the Christmas lights, and we'll have that, and it will be a character moment. And I kind of said all of these things, and they were writing it down, and they were thinking okay, how many minutes are we up to now? What if we had this? All right, good. How many minutes now? Have we got it up to, the film? I'm kind of surprised this film is an hour and 40 minutes, so I think it's an hour and 45 minutes. I guess they were oh, we got to add 15 minutes more so people think we didn't do the bare minimum. But yeah, literally they were oh, we'll just add all the stuff, and then they had it all, and they're there we go. that is an hour and 40 minutes worth of stuff. And then the problem is, they didn't think, now let's turn it into a coherent story where, you know, there's arcs and a lesson, and apart from obviously the most superficial thing of like, Christmas, good. But, yeah.
So, you make a good point, so obviously the plot, is about the Grinch, but there's also like this underlying thing, mainly involving Cindy Lou. She's like, oh, Christmas all seems to be about presents. I want it to be about family, you know, like a kid would actually think like that. But anyway, whatever. And so, again, like you said, the Grinch kind of is, it is tacked on. This Grinch saying, "Oh, you're all materialistic," and I'm thinking, yeah, he's right, but like that's not why it's not why you don't like Christmas, is it?
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's like incredibly just like, oh yeah, we'll get him to say this, you know, and that's why I was thinking it'd be good if the mayor was like really corrupt or something.
Yeah.
And it could be like, oh, the mayor's, we've lost the true meaning of Christmas, like all the Whoville people could say that. It's like, we elected this guy and we don't actually care about what really matters with Christmas. And if the Grinch had a better motivation as well, and it wasn't just, oh, I was pissed off that people made fun of the fact that I have a beard around Christmas time. Like, if you had a better motivation than that, then yeah, it would have worked, but that was not the case. There's also one other thing, actually.
Yeah.
I maybe I was a bit too harsh saying the plot was way too thin, because there was the romance with Martha May, I believe.
Oh, goodness.
She's called. So that bit right there doesn't really need to happen. Doesn't really make any sense. Like, I don't know how you'd find the Grinch attractive in any way.
You're just like those Whovians, Luke.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sorry. Like, he's ugly, and there's just no way. There's just no way. It's just in there to pad the runtime. Like, you can think, like, she can be sympathetic towards him, but yeah, nah. I'm saying that's bullshit right there. There's a cliched rivalry between the two women, Martha May and Cindy Lou's mum.
Yeah.
That doesn't go anywhere either, does it? It's like, that's it. Like, they just have a bit of a competition, but no, that's not revisited again. So it's like, there's barely anything here with the plot. You can also tell which bits are from the original book, because the narration increases. Like, you hear Anthony Hopkins more, and when the Grinch interacts with the narration, like, and gives Cindy Lou a glass of water, which he'd never normally do, but the narrator says it because that's probably in the actual original story. So it's like, okay, we have to do that bit. So yeah, you can, like I said, you can tell which bits are from the original, which bits are just tacked on. But yeah, that romance with Martha May, awful. And I guess maybe I should credit they actually tried to add something, but yeah, it was bad. So yeah, I've got nothing really more to say in the plot, Michael.
Yeah, I mean,
it was
yeah.
Shit.
I have some thoughts on how they could improve it, but they're quite centered on the Grinch's backstory, so I think we'll talk about the Grinch in just 1 second. One thing I wanted to bring up, Luke, is that song about like 5-10 minutes in really got me, because and when I say got me, I mean in a bad way.
Oh,
because
right.
I was like, oh shit, because I was thinking to myself, like, because I'd seen this film before, you know, I think I've seen it several times before, but when I was a kid. So I could kind of remember it. And I was thinking, oh, you know, it'll be fun because it'll be nostalgic. Which, by the way, I think is the main reason why I didn't hate this film, just because of nostalgia.
Okay, yeah. I don't think I watched this movie before this.
Yeah. So, but then she starts singing, and I was literally just like, oh my god, no, don't turn this into a musical, because it's like the worst song ever. And I don't think, I think I'm right in saying that song wasn't from the original. Because it's like, where are you, Christmas? She can't sing. It's a really derivative tune, and it's just the worst lyrics in the world. And I'm just
you know what? You say she can't sing. Do you know what her job is now? The actress.
She's a singer.
She's a singer. She's in a band. So.
Wow. Maybe. Okay. Anyway. But the other thing is, then they have the classic, the Grinch song, the do 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 do. Mr. Grinch, do. So my guess would be, I mean, that song is a classic, and there's nothing wrong with that. I assume that all of the like Who Christmas carols are from the original cartoon, because I don't know, they sounded like made up but not terrible. So I'm guessing they were from the original cartoon. But yeah, basically all I'm going to say is like that all the music is fine except for that one song that comes in 10 or 5 minutes in. And not only is it just awful, but like you'll think to yourself, or I thought to myself, oh no, this is going to be a musical, and it's going to have music.
Thankfully, it wasn't.
Yeah, it's going to have music like this all the way through it. I would have liked it if they would have set up the mum's character a bit by having her saying "money, money, money" out of nowhere. I think that would have been a good decision. But anyway, now we can start talking about the Grinch.
Yes.
So,
The Grinch.
You know what, Luke? I think it wouldn't have been too ambitious of us to strive to do this entire podcast in rhyme. And I know what you're thinking, Luke. Would we have the time?
You know what, Michael? That is very smart. You do it like an art. But was that good?
Yeah, it was great. I'll tell you what, it's something I didn't hate. Anyway, okay. So, the Grinch. I'm going to talk about his backstory, because we have to talk about his backstory, because it's kind of related to the plot. Okay. So, here's the thing, okay? They kind of like, the whole point is supposed to be that the reason he's so bad is because he got made fun of for shaving his beard.
Yeah, he got picked on at school.
When he's 12, I think they said. You're 12 years old and you have a beard. Or maybe it was 8.
No, 8 years old, yeah.
Good. Anyway, so they say that. But the thing is, like, the first thing that happens when they're telling the story is his little basket that he's on, that's floating, hits another kid, and you can hear him do this evil laugh because he's hurt a baby. And I'm thinking to myself, hold on a minute, he's already a dickhead. And then it gets even worse, because literally, like, even as he's, like, the whole thing is, he finds out that his girlfriend, who's not actually his girlfriend, the girl he's in love with or whatever, loves Christmas. And first of all, he's like, I hate Christmas. Like, literally, he says he hates Christmas, or like, acts as if he hates Christmas. Like, the scene before, it's supposed to explain why he hates Christmas. So it makes no sense. It's like, this is why the Grinch hates Christmas. Anyway, so the Grinch was busy thinking about how much he hates Christmas when, he hates Christmas. Then she says she likes Christmas. So he's like, okay, because she likes Christmas, I'm going to put in some effort. But literally, like, he's being a dick as he's building the present. There's a bit where he's like, what a lovely, priceless family heirloom. And then he smashes it. So literally, as he's making this angel present, he's being a dick. And then, so it's like, it completely contradicts itself. Because the whole point is, this is why the Grinch hates Christmas. And yet, at the same time, everything that we see about him in his early childhood, even literally the night before the scene that's supposed to explain why he hates Christmas, he's being a dick and he hates Christmas.
Yeah.
So pointless.
He hates... Why does he hate Christmas in the first place, Michael?
I don't know. Does it say?
No, that's the thing. Like, I don't know why they did this. I don't think they had to with the flashbacks. They should have just made him like be ambivalent towards Christmas.
Yeah. Or I mean, like,
gets his heart. Sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I'm like, they could have just had the reason he hates Christmas is because he thinks it's too materialistic. But yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's if you're changing the plot drastically, if you're changing a lot of things about the actual story, but just if you're changing just a bit, just make him not hate Christmas, and then he gets his heart broken or picked on at Christmas time, and he always resents Christmas because of those memories. Yeah. And then, that would just be a simple way to solve it. But you're right, like, why does he hate Christmas beforehand?
Yeah.
And anyway, like, the thing is about the whole him hating Christmas and going up to live in the mountain or whatever, like, why is he so pissed off with Christmas after what happened with him shaving? Like, shouldn't he have a vendetta not against Christmas, but maybe against the school or the town or society? Like, why was I born this way? Why does everybody pick on me? Like, I hate school. Like, just because it happens around Christmas time doesn't mean you hate Christmas.
Fun.
Like, if something really shit happened to you, Michael, on December the 17th, you probably wouldn't hate Christmas, would you? You'd be like, well, there's two things that have really nothing to do with each other.
No, yeah. I would think to myself, if anything, I would be more reliant on Christmas, because Christmas would be my one source of comfort in those dark times.
Yeah, those dark, hypothetical times.
Yeah. I assume.
Yeah. By the way, the Grinch, he reminds me of Robbie Rotten from Lazy Town.
Maybe he was the inspiration for... Oh, rest in peace, Carl Steffens. What's his name?
Yeah, rest in peace, Carl Steffens.
Yeah, that is his name. How can I... Rest in peace, Kane Stodenberg.
Yeah. So, thank God, by the way, the Grinch is kind of entertaining. Actually, I won't say kind of. He's quite entertaining. Jim Carrey does a good job, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I think this movie would just be so bad.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
I was going to say one more thing about how I think they could have made the film slightly better.
Okay, go on.
They could have had, like, okay, the Grinch, maybe slightly older, like 15, say, rather than 8, or maybe 13. He's you know, a cynical kind of...
He's in his angsty teen stage.
He's not that happy, but then...
Kurt Cobain.
Then he like, meets the girl, and he has a sincere relationship with her, one where they're actually, like, close and they're in love. And then, you know, she breaks his heart, and then he becomes, you know, a total recluse. And then you can have, you know, the reason why he specifically hates Christmas is just because, you know, he doesn't like the whole materialism thing. So it's just like a generally angry person who it happens to be Christmas. Because, you know, like, here's my analogy, good analogy. Ebenezer Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge doesn't hate Christmas. Even though people say, oh, you hate Christmas, you Scrooge. Ebenezer Scrooge doesn't hate Christmas so much as he just hates everything. Like, it's not specifically Christmas he hates. He just is a generally, like, mean person, and therefore that extends onto Christmas, the happiest time of the year. So there's already, like, a precedent for that being how you deal with things. So I don't know why they didn't just have it like, yeah, he's generally upset because reason, and then it just so happens that it's Christmas time, so obviously he's going to be upset during Christmas, which is a time when people like to have fun. So yeah, apart from that, did you want to say anything else about the backstory, or shall we move on to the character?
No, just a few other things about the Grinch. First off, I think, like, obviously we talked about him just hating Christmas and the fact that, like, he seems to be quite an evil person, like he nearly lets Cindy Lou die.
Yeah.
Also engages in animal cruelty.
Oh yeah, I was thinking that.
These are serious crimes,
love animals.
Very serious ones. Yeah. He may hate Christmas, but he's also a criminal. Like, the police officer should have arrested him at the end, no doubt about it. Also, like, so since in the flashback it's shown that the Grinch wears clothes, does that mean he's, like, walking around naked?
I don't know, because, like, he is walking around naked, obviously. I was kind of, personally looking for that penis. That should have been a nitpick. He didn't have a penis.
Well, maybe he wasn't born with one. Maybe that's why he's so angry with the world.
Yeah. To be honest, that would be a good reason to be angry with the world, especially seeing as we live in such a phallocentric society.
Definitely. He is quite smart, though, like, to get all that stuff sorted out in such a short amount of time in terms of stealing Christmas.
Yeah, actually.
Like, the guy's talented, you know? You have to say it.
Yes.
Yeah, he knows how to put an operation together on short notice, you know?
Yeah, they could have had him be like, this has never been done before, the genius sociopath.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that would be good.
What if it's a sociopath, but also he's smart? This is groundbreaking.
What about a movie about a sociopath who's dumb?
Yeah, that would be good. I feel like I'm just really stupid. Just like, I hate you. What? You just told me you hate me?
That's basically Donald Trump, though, isn't it?
That's true. Yeah.
But I want to, before we move on, Michael, I think it would be amiss if we didn't talk about Jim Carrey.
Yes. Jim Carrey is Sherry, as they say.
Yeah. Paul Clinton of CNN declared that Carrey was born to play this role and noted Carrey carries nearly every scene. In fact, if he's not in the scene, there is no scene. And I picked that quote out because I thought, yeah, he's right. Like, this is a very good role for Jim Carrey. And yeah, without him, like, the thing is, there was various times throughout the movie where it's just obviously Jim Carrey. There's nothing or nobody else in the scene apart from his dog, and like, you'd assume those scenes would be boring, and they're a bit boring because nothing's really happening. But like, he keeps you interested. He's kind of entertaining in those scenes, and so yeah, I props to Jim Carrey for that because he was one of the main reasons I think why this movie wasn't a complete disaster.
Yeah,
because it could have been if the Grinch was boring.
It's a shame Jim Carrey's an anti-vaxxer.
Is he really?
Yeah. He wrote an article that said the jury is still out on whether or not vaccines cause autism.
Jury's out, Mike. Like, who can tell?
Yeah, I would like it if that was his character in The Grinch. If it was, like,
you know what?
The problem is, seeing as it's a film where everyone behaves like suburban white people, from middle America, they probably already think abortions cause autism. Like every single person there is an anti-vaxxer.
Now, there's a difference between being anti-vaccinations and anti-abortion. Because I read an article about how the vaccination rates in Los Angeles, in a very affluent suburb in Los Angeles, are lower than the poorest regions of Africa.
Wow.
Because there's so many anti-vaxxers. So
it is crazy. It's just funny. I mean, I know this is a complete sidetrack, but I just need to say, I see a lot of anti-vaxxer stuff, mostly because of a meme group I'm on Facebook. But it's kind of just insane to me that somebody can be so confident about something that they must know that they know nothing about. You'd think just in your head you'd be like, I obviously know nothing. It just how can they be so confident that it's all they know better than all of the scientists? Mental.
I don't know, Michael.
Anyway, okay, yeah. So back to Jim Carrey.
I guess.
Do you think it was a bit? Do you think Jim Carrey got typecast when he was also cast to play Scrooge in the animated Christmas Carol?
Yeah, it's quite a niche to play people who are pissed off with Christmas.
That's true, yeah. So I think that should be his thing. But yeah.
I just wanted to go into, Michael, a story about Jim Carrey's Grinch suit.
Okay.
And then we can move into the technical details.
I'm interested. That's a good segue.
Yeah, good segue. Jim Carrey's Grinch suit was covered in yak hair, which was dyed green, and sewn onto a spandex suit. The first application of makeup took 4 hours, after which a frustrated Jim Carrey kicked a hole in the wall of his trailer, wanting to quit the film. It gets better. The production brought in a CIA operative who instructed agents how to endure extreme torture techniques to coach Carrey to remain calm during the process. The process, that's incredible. The process was later refined, so it only took 2.5 hours in the morning getting in, and 1 hour in the evening to get out. In total, Carrey spent 92 days in the Grinch makeup and became a Zen master while sitting in the makeup chair. And maybe that's when he had his epiphany that vaccinations cause autism.
Yeah.
The actors who played the Who's were a large task, and it was one of the largest makeup crews ever assembled. So yeah, there you go. A bit of background on Jim Carrey's suit. Him bringing in the production bringing in a CIA operative because it was that bad. To be fair, it must be fucking annoying.
Yeah.
Imagine that. 92 days. Jesus.
Yeah, that is interesting. It brings me on to a comparison I've been wanting to make for a while, but it has to be made. Do you know the Mike Myers Cat in the Hat film?
Yes, yeah. I've seen it.
So, I mean, what did you think, Luke?
I can't remember, but I think I remember it being bad.
Yeah, okay, see...
It probably was. I remember the meme. Have you seen that meme? Of the cat in the hat with a baseball bat?
I don't think so.
And he's photoshopped into... I don't know where it originates from. It's quite random or arbitrary, but it's there's German soldiers in World War One. There's a photo of them in the trenches, and then there's the cat in the hat in the background with the baseball bat about to hit them, or it looks like that. And the caption is brave French soldier sneaks up on German soldiers. World War One, 1917. Colorized.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you have
no. It's just that I'm familiar with that meme format of you say something and you pretend it's a historical event, and then you say colorized. It's been, but yeah, I don't think I might have seen it now I think about it. But anyway, what I wanted to say is that Mike Myers, one of the criticisms of him, he was compared a lot to Jim Carrey. And one of the criticisms of him is that he really didn't do a good job acting. He just looked like some kind of, just boring furry in a catsuit. And a lot of people say, Jim Carrey actually, made an effort to act and
he really made an effort.
He looked animated, as they say. He was very animated, and I think that wasn't
the case with Mike Myers.
There was actually a moment where I found Jim Carrey to be a bit self-indulgent. I can tell you the exact moment. It was the moment where Cindy Lou, I keep wanting to say Lucy Lou, Cindy Lou goes to see the Grinch, and he's kind of like, I'm scary, and then he kind of does all of this stuff. He's like, oh, he just does a billion different things in an attempt to show how scary he is. And I was thinking, I don't know, I'm a bit bored now. But apart from that, I enjoyed him. Except for the animal abuse.
I'd rather him be a bit self-indulgent than the opposite and just not care.
Yeah, that's true.
I said, I haven't seen The Cat in the Hat in a while, but if Mike Myers did do a shit job, imagine Mike Myers as the Grinch in this movie, and it would have been just god awful.
Mike Myers is kind of crap. I mean, like,
He is, but apparently there's a new Austin Powers movie coming.
Well, see, I didn't really enjoy Goldmember.
I know that's the third one.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm just kind of thinking. I mean, like, let's just say I'm not that excited for, especially it's gonna be like another Dumb and Dumber 2.
Yeah, I did like the line from I think it was Michael Caine in Goldmember. It's like, there's two things I hate: one, being disrespectful of cultures and people who are different from you; and number two, the Dutch. I thought that was quite funny.
Yeah. Some might say it was a bit derivative.
Derivative? Wow.
Yeah. Anyway, so
who's the humour
piece now? Yeah. So anything else about the Grinch?
Nah, you wanted to talk about
intro.
some of the technical aspects, yeah.
Actually, I didn't want to talk about the technical aspects that much, Luke, to be honest. So you actually imposed it upon me. I said I wanted to talk about the music, which I've already spoken about. That's the problem. And then you just added in all this other technical stuff, but it's fine. We will talk about it, though. But I did want to say one thing, yeah. The intro for Jim Carrey's The Grinch, the Grinch was quite good. It was scary, and it was like, hey, the Grinch lives up in that castle. They kind of established him as like a legend, and they're like, oh, you're going to go see the Grinch. He's scary, isn't he? And then they go see him, and then he gets scared, and then there's a reveal that the big monster is actually his dog. Isn't that fun? I like that.
Yeah.
So, well done, intro. Set design. I tell you what, I was thinking. Like, sometimes I think this to myself. I was thinking, you could probably, film this yourself. Because, there were several scenes where I was thinking, I feel like they've got a really tiny set. Every single, I don't know why, but every single camera shot is really tight. It's just quite zoomed in. So I was thinking to myself, there's a scene of Jim Carrey, stood on the mountain. I was thinking, even though he stood on top of a mountain, he could literally be stood on, a set that is, 5 meters wide. Because all they need is, just the mountain thing he stood on, the door in the background, and then they could probably just green screen in the background, the sky in the background. And that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
Everything felt really small. The Who town felt small, which I guess is, because every single person there is called Who.
Yeah, well, I guess, it did feel small, but to be fair,
it's on an iceberg.
The amount of... Sorry?
It's set on not an iceberg, it's set on a snowflake.
Yeah. Here's the thing. I imagine it would have cost a lot to set up this town.
Yeah, that's true.
Instead of just CGing it. It seems pretty expensive. It's like in the 90s Batman movies, when they had to,
build Gotham City.
CG. Yeah, they had to build Gotham, they couldn't just CG it. So it just looks really shit. But yeah, it would have cost quite a bit of money to do that. So I can understand if the set design was small.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, apart from that though,
but to be fair, they spent 132 million on it. So maybe that's where some of it went, along with Jim Carrey's salary.
Yeah, I would have liked it if they gave it the Phantom of the Menace approach, or not even Phantom of the Menace, all of the Star Wars prequels, where it's just great. But yeah, apart from that, I don't think I had anything else to say about the technical stuff. So, the rest of the characters, we're going to talk about that.
So let's talk about the rest of the characters.
First thing that needs to be said, what do you think about the fact that the Who's look like horrible, disgusting freaks?
I mean, I think you've been a bit harsh there. But yeah, I mean, they have to look a bit weird, don't they? Well, yeah, I don't know. In the original book, maybe they look like this.
Yeah, well, I think the problem is in the original book they look like that, but it's kind of it's a bit like if somebody made a live-action version of The Simpsons, and they looked the same, you would just be horrified. Imagine looking at a real life with massive, big, bulging eyes. Oh, just thinking about it terrifies me.
I saw it on Twitter, actually. There's this person who concocted... Oh, well, it wasn't probably the person who posted the tweet, but it was a photo of what Homer would look like if he was actually a human. And it's truly, truly frightening. Yeah,
so basically what I'm saying is you can't take how somebody looks in a cartoon. Because the Who's look kind of cute in a cartoon. They're just so adorable, because they've got, these cute little eyes and these tiny little button noses. Problem is, now their noses just look horrible. They look like I can't think what this is, but I know what I'm thinking of. Okay, there was this woman who got her face eaten by a monkey, a chimpanzee. People get mauled by chimpanzees.
Or scalped.
Yeah. So she got like her face bitten off, and she literally like the chimp bit off her nose. And she was in like kind of this inspiring story thing where I was like, this woman had her face eaten off by a monkey, and now listen to her tell her, it was like one of those Lifetime movie things, I guess.
Yeah.
And basically that's what the Who's look like. They look like their nose has been bitten off by a monkey.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, I think we should go through the characters.
Yeah.
So we got Taylor Momsen as Cindy Lou Who. Yeah, you're right. They've all got the last name Who.
Wow.
Fucking hell. So Cindy Lou Who, or just Cindy Lou, she's the young girl who believes that the spirit of Christmas has been lost, and she likes the Grinch for some reason. Don't really know why, but maybe she's just that altruistic and a virtue signaler.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really it. She just wants to prove she's better than everybody else.
Yeah. I hate her.
You got anything to say about Cindy Lou?
I feel like I mean, no.
No.
Can't say.
Okay. We got Jeffrey Tambor as Mayor Augustus Mayhew.
Again, I guess the thing is he's like an arsehole, but he's a very boring arsehole.
Yeah.
He doesn't really do anything.
The thing is, like I said before, I thought he was going to be a bad guy, but he's not really a bad guy. Like he shakes the Grinch's hand after the Grinch steals his girl.
Yeah.
The Grinch cooks him right in front of his face, and he just takes it.
Yeah.
So
typical. He you know what? I think it would have been good if he was crooked Hillary.
Crooked Hillary.
I would have liked it if there was a scene where all people were going, "It's his turn." Hey, the Grinch. It's his turn to be the mayor. Because that's what everyone said about Hillary, didn't they? They said,
yes.
Oh, actually, I wanted to say this. Okay, just going back to the midterms. Here was my kind of fear in the back of my head. I was worried if the Democrats did too well, that the Democrats would think to themselves, hey, everyone likes us now, so we can, put whoever we want up for president, and they'd go, what about Hillary Clinton? I was really worried if they did too well, they'd be like, let's try Hillary Clinton, again, because they'd be like, oh, everyone loves us now, and that was my big fear, but,
yeah,
you know what, here's the one final thing. You know that woman who won New York, Ocasio-Cortez, I don't know, something like that.
Yes.
It's,
Ocasio-Cortez, yes.
She is too young to run for president.
Yeah, she's only 29.
Yeah, the age limit is 35, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So that's crazy.
Because otherwise, she wouldn't run anyway.
Yeah, I know, but it would be great because then you'd have a woman, and then she could say something like, people would go, Donald Trump is very anti-establishment, and she could say something like, I can't think of anyone who's more anti-establishment than the first woman president.
I saw yesterday, or it wasn't yesterday, it was on the day of the midterms, somebody quote that infamous line from Hillary Clinton.
Pokemon go to the polls.
Yes, make sure you Pokemon
no, that
go
was,
to the
I
polls.
saw an even better one. I can't go through it because I'm not a Pokemon nerd, but it was basically every single Pokemon game, like they've got like Pokemon Journey and Pokemon Discovery, and it was like, if you, we're on a Pokemon journey, and we're going to, engage in a Pokemon Discovery. So if you Pokemon go to the polls, then we can, do a Pokemon annihilation of the Republican Party. It was just, it was great. Anyway, so yeah, the mayor should have been Hillary Clinton, and then
should have been corrupt.
Yes, exactly, crooked Hillary.
Yeah, he was just interested in the materialism of Christmas, of presents, and the glitz, the glamour, not the soul of Christmas.
And the Grinch should have been Bernie Sanders. He should have been like, Christmas is the most corrupt thing. Everyone should have access to Christmas presents. Christmas presents are a basic human right.
Yeah, kind of. Metaphor's not exactly there, but we get what you're saying. Yeah. We'll just do one more. Christian Baranski as Martha May.
The sexy woman.
Yeah. So Jeffrey Tambor, or I'll just say the character's name, Mayor Augustus May, proposes to, Martha. Have they got the same middle name? Oh my god, Michael.
What?
His name is Augustus May, and
she's called Martha
her name
May.
is Martha May.
Maybe, okay, here's my theory, okay? If you ignore the fact that Lou isn't a month, okay, then maybe they're named after the month they were born. Maybe they're called, so I'd be called, Michael August Who, and you'd be called Luke May Who. Is your birthday in May?
It's in April.
Oh, damn it. Luke April who?
No, I'm sorry, Michael. I've got it. I'm looking at the other characters' names, and we've got Clamella who, Rose who, Drew Lou who, Stu Lou who, Officer Houlihan,
Drew Lou who,
Christina Hooterberry, just something called Junie, Miss Rue who, Surprised who.
Surprised who? I think that's just describing their role in the film, not.
Do you know who plays Surprised who, Michael?
Is it someone famous or just a funny name?
It is.
Oh, really? I'm just going to guess Kirk Cameron.
No, it's the daughter of the director.
Oh, so someone Howard. Oh, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Bryce Dallas Howard. She plays Surprised who, and there's narrator Anthony Hopkins. So yeah, I'm just looking at all the names, Michael. The evidence is clear. You got Augustus May and Martha May. Like, they got to be related, considering how small a town Whoville is. I mean, that's incestuous right there.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. I'm just calling it like I see it.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. And I mean, to be honest, they've got to be pretty incestuous because, like, I mean, they're. I feel like, okay, so you know how their noses are weird. It's probably one of those like, we must keep the gene pool pure thing. Yeah. So basically they're the royal family.
Yeah, I guess so. We got two more characters in the mention actually. Lulu Who and Betty Lou Who, and another one. Clint Howard as Hubris.
Hubris.
So Hubris.
That's like that's a word. Hubris is like when you. I don't actually know what it means, but like it's like hubris is when you're kind of like cold and. It's basically hubris is what the Grinch is. That's weird.
Yeah. It's played by Clint Howard, brother of the director as well. Really got his family involved in this.
Yeah, well, Sam Raimi got his brother to play J. Jonah Jameson's assistant, but nobody ever congratulates him.
No, I guess not. So, yeah, that is the cast. I'm not going to go through any more. Don't think it's necessary.
Aww.
Yeah, sorry about that. You wanted to talk about the humour, Michael?
Yeah, okay, so there are three things that made me laugh.
Go on.
I like the book where he's doing the echo, and he hears the echo, and then he says, I'm an idiot. And the echo responds back, you're an idiot. And then, like, I was already laughing at that, and then he kind of like is whispering, he's like, well, I'm going to whisper, and that way you won't be able to echo back at me. So, what do you think about that? And then the echo's like, you're an idiot. Then I liked the joke with...
Of course you'd like that, of course you did.
I also like the he looks just like your boss joke, where the baby shows up and the guy opens the door, he's like, hey, it's a baby, he looks just like your boss.
That's a classic.
Yeah, it would have been like, if they could have been a bit more racy, it could have been like, he's black. But of course they don't have any black people in the Who land, that's the problem.
Why is he black? Like, the only black man in Who land, your boss.
Yeah. And then my final one is I liked when Jim Carrey said one of his plans, he was like going through his plans as the Grinch, and he was like, solve world hunger, tell no one. Just
that was good.
Anyway, so yeah, those were the three things I thought, it's kind of funny. And well, one of them, I mean, obviously that you're an idiot one, had to fool around laughing at that one. You're an idiot. Classic.
God.
Anyway, so love that. What have we got next? Just,
you know what, Michael?
I think we've got predictions for the new film then.
Oh yeah. So we've got two that aren't related to the actual movie, but well, I guess the first one is like, does it hold up? Like, if you watched it today, is it? I mean, the thing is, it does look dated, especially with the set design. But I guess because it's a kids movie, it's still kind of fine.
I think like this film is still like fine for kids, basically. So.
Oh yeah, it's fine for kids, obviously, but it's like, does it hold up?
Yeah. I would say it's probably. I think it pretty much does. Yeah, I mean, like obviously the special effects are pretty good, and it kind of is okay that it feels a bit kind of small because it's got a certain charm to it.
Fair enough. Next one. Predictions for the new Grinch. How do you think this new movie is going to fare?
Well, okay. So, I want to talk about some stuff, Luke. The first thing I wanted to say is, I've been wanting to say this for a while because you said at the beginning, you weren't really sure on what my opinions were on this film because I said I didn't think it was a good film, but I kind of enjoyed it. One of the things that I was thinking when I was watching this film is that this film is like bad, but it's like not bad in the cynical way. that I think this new Grinch film is going to be. Because, like, something I get nostalgic about, and this goes all the way back to Spider-Man 3, is when films were, like, bad, but they were bad because the director made bad... Yeah, like, and it's just kind of, like, charming to go back and watch films from the early 2000s or before then, and just see a film where it's just like, wow, the director really just didn't know what they were doing. And it's just so enjoyable. And like nowadays, it's like it's never that the director didn't know what they were doing, except for around like Shyamalan films. Apart from that, it's never the director didn't know what they're doing. It's always just like, oh, the studio said we've got to have this, and that's the problem. Like the so this is what we should talk about though. So that's my first point. But we should talk about the other Illumination, entertainment, animation, whatever it's called, film that they did based on a Doctor Who film, Doctor Seuss book. Do you know what that is, Luke?
Oh yeah, it's the Lorax.
Yeah, the Lorax. So that film is not good. So I'll tell you the problems with the Lorax. This is a miniature review. Basically, it's filled with like cliches, like the most kind of stupid, inane cliches. Like there's
just like this movie.
Yeah, but like I'd say even worse. It feels like even more kind of like assembly line. Like they have like the mum, and the mum is like embarrassing. Also, she's a Jew. Like that's not me. Like she's like, hey kids, I made a sweater for you to dance in or the prom. I don't know. She just does kind of things like that. But yeah, she's a Jew.
Okay.
It's fine. But I'm just saying like she's a stereotypical. You know, like you imagine like a.
Are you sure it's fine, Michael? Are you sure?
You know, like how a Jew mum is like the most like stereotypically embarrassing mum. Because, like, in The Big Bang Theory, Howard's mum is really annoying. And no, I don't watch The Big Bang Theory, but I still know this. And then they've got, like, a granny who's, like, she's literally, like, surfing. And it's like, look, it's a granny surfing. And the, like, guy who's in charge is, like, really short, which is funny, because obviously bad guys are always short. And literally his thing is, like, he wants to destroy all the trees because trees make air for free, and his business sells air. Which brings me to the bigger problem with the Lorax, which is it completely removes all of the subtlety and nuance from the original story. Because the whole point of the original story is that there isn't necessarily always a clear like decision to be made between the environment and the economy. You know, sometimes what's good for the economy negatively affects the environment, and it's not always clear which one should take priority over the other. That's the whole point of the book. Like, there's a scene where the guy says, like, hey, do you want me to get rid of all of these workers? Then they wouldn't have any money. So it's like that kind of argument, but that argument's never made in the film, the new film, because it's just the lowest common denominator. It's like, capitalism evil, environment good, embarrassing mum funny. So basically, what I think is it's going to be...
Are you saying the Lorax is liberal propaganda? No, Marxist propaganda.
Honestly, like, here's the thing, okay? Like, obviously, the companies that make these films are capitalist because they're companies. The thing is, like, there is a lot of, like, I hate to be Fox Newsy, but I agree, there are companies, or particularly film companies, that have, quote-unquote, liberal propaganda, which I think is possibly worthy of the term virtue signaling, in that literally the only thing it does is it's designed to say, hey, look, we're hip, we're cool, we're on the right side, and obviously the people doing it don't actually care. So basically, yeah, in a sense, like, as much as it makes me sound like some kind of crazy right-wing person, a lot of these films, it's just like, hey, you know, factories are evil, and it's just dumb. Because, like, you can make an intelligent... So basically, that's what I think. Like, basically, the Grinch...
How does this relate to the Grinch?
Well, because it's the same company making the same thing. I'm just kind of... Obviously, it's, like, a different kind of plot, but I feel like, basically, there's going to be a lot of... I mean, even the trailer had Pharrell Williams happy. So there's going to be a lot of pop culture references, which they also had in the Lorax. I didn't mention that. A lot of pop culture references. Probably, like, the Grinch's character is going to have a song where he sings about how evil he is. Because they had the songs in the Lorax too. I should mention that. It was like a musical. So he's going to have a song about how evil he is. It might even be, I can easily see this happening, a kind of like pop rocky redoing. So you know how Fall Out Boy did the Ghostbusters theme in 2016? Yeah. I could see like a similar thing, but for the Grinch song. So it's going to be like, I don't know, like, I can't really do a Fall Out Boy. So, you're a douchebag, Mr. Grinch. Da, 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 da. That's going to be how it's going to go. And basically, everyone's eyes are going to bleed in the cinema.
Wow.
And then the Minion's going to show up. I think I would like it if they had one Minion reference. But ultimately, I mean, in terms of like the film, so that's talking about the film's quality. In terms of the film's success, I mean, it might do well because remember it. But also, what I think is it's not going to do as well as the Minions films. So basically, they're all going to sit there and go, "We've got to do more Minions films." That's how it works. Because they did the Lorax, and the Lorax did okay, but they were like, "Hey, do you know what did better than the Lorax? Despicable Me. Do you know what people liked about Despicable Me? Minions." So I think we're going to get another... The Minions are going to be back. The second wave of Minion memes.
Is there anything more indicting in the human population than the success of the Minions?
Yeah, I mean, it's just... Like... It's kind of weird, because you would really think that Illumination Animation was run by Sony. I mean, it's just crazy that it's... I mean, like, obviously Universal aren't great. But... You know, I mean, I feel like Universal's kind of becoming the new Sony, because think about it, okay, they've got the Jurassic Park films, they're terrible, and then they've got the Dark Universe. I mean,
well, they had the
Dark Universe. So, and then they've got this terrible animation company. I think we're going to see the Emoji Movie, but from Illumination Animation, it's going to be like the book movie. It's going to be about books.
The book movie. Wow. Sounds enthralling.
You know what? I would really like... I think it would be a bold experimental move if they did a film adaptation of Green Eggs and Ham. Just see like how much of a plot they can get out of some guy saying, "I don't like green eggs and ham," and another guy being like, "Are you sure?" And he's like, "No, I don't like it." Because that's literally just... Do you remember the time when Ted Cruz read Green Eggs and Ham?
I was just about to mention that.
Green Eggs and Ham in his filibuster. So yeah.
And he just won the fucking Texas Senate seat.
Yeah, against Beto.
Beto. Yeah. So anyway, I think we should conclude.
You didn't say whether or not you thought it was going to be good, though, by the way, Luke.
Oh, yeah.
Well, not
I think it's going
good,
to be below average.
But successful.
Successful? Nah, I don't think it'll be successful.
I'm wondering. Okay, so they did a film called Sing, which like I say, it seems like their pattern is like Minion movie, regular film. Regular film doesn't do that well. Another Minion movie, regular film. So
did they do Norm of the North?
I don't think so.
Norm of the North, which got 9% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Did it say who the production company was, or?
I am about to look at it right now. Is an American Indian Irish computer animated comedy adventure film.
Indian Irish.
Wow, when those two countries team up, you know something special is going to happen. Stars Rob Schneider, Heather Graham, Ken Jeong. It was produced by... it was distributed by Lionsgate.
Okay.
Produced by Assemblage Entertainment and Splash Entertainment and Telegale. I assume that's the Irish company.
Yeah. I find it like Indian and Irish people teaming together. Basically, it's just an English-made famine waiting to happen. Because that's all we did to India and Ireland, just gave them those famines.
Fair enough.
Anyway, so ending now.
Yes, we're ending. Yeah. Anyway, The Grinch. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. So I'll conclude first. So I'll just say, I think the performance from John Kerry was really...
You just said John Kerry, the former American head of state. Secretary of State.
Yeah, Secretary of State, yeah. And, he ran in 2004, didn't he? Democrats, yeah. So a fantastic performance, I think, by Jim Carrey. Unfortunately, I don't think he could save this movie. At the end of the day, yeah, it's meant for kids, this movie, but plot was just so dull, simple, cliched, and I care, Michael. I care. Like the wafer thin plot was obviously it's bad. They spent no effort on it, and then the bits that they did add, like the romance subplot with the Grinch and what she called Martha May, that was shit. And then the whole thing about Christmas being too materialistic just didn't develop well at all. So unfortunately, yeah, this movie just not that good, and I'm gonna have to give it a 4 out of 10.
That's interesting, Luke, because well, first of all, yeah, this film had a lot of problems. Yeah, again, Jim Carrey did a really good performance. There were some interesting additions in the middle, but then the flip side is the ending felt kind of rushed, and the beginning felt really stretched out and pointless. So I don't know, they could have just mixed things around a bit and had a significantly better film. As much as I said like, oh, I enjoyed it, the only reason I enjoyed it is because of nostalgia and just thinking like, hey, I remember that. And on the side, I also think like if you showed it to a kid, they would probably enjoy it, but obviously that's not a mark of quality. So with all of that in mind, I'm also going to give it a 4 out of 10. Just because, like, so here's the thing, Luke, okay? Ages ago, I went through my list, because I've got rankings, obviously, and I went through my list and I applied numbers to everything.
Just bored us.
Yeah, so I did like my 9s. I said, okay, all of these films, these are 9s, these are 8s, these are 7s. And it just so happened that I did that like last time, in between this time and last time and this time. And I got my little 4 section. But if you want to know where I ranked it, I'm going to rank it just below goal ! And just above Mamma Mia.
You know what, Michael? I'm a bit pissed off that you're copying me. Like, you've taken over my corner.
Well, you know what, Luke? To be honest, I'll probably not mention the number again. It's just, it's quite good.
No, if you want to, Michael, you can. Feel free.
Yeah. There's only 2 films I've given a 1 out of 10. Guess what they are?
You've given 1 out of 10? Oh, I don't think I've given a 1 out of 10.
Mine is, to be honest, actually, they don't...
I'll get both 50 Shades.
Yeah, both 50 Shades.
Yeah, I think I gave both a 2 out of 10.
Yeah. So. And then my 2s out of 10s are Tomb Raider, Jurassic World, and Daddy's Home 2. And tell you what, I'll tell you my 3s too. Because I've only got 3 of those. After I reach 4, it gets like a lot more. The ones that my 3s are Mamma Mia, The Last Jedi, and Grease.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah.
Perfect.
The Last Jedi. You were you're harsher than me, but you're also, because I think I've got like 1-9, so I think you're.
Yeah, I've got actually.
You've got greater range.
I'll give you my 9s too, actually. La La Land, Moonlight, Arrival, Get Out, and Grand Budapest Hotel. I decided those would be mine. But I've got a lot of 6s actually. That's the standard, isn't it? Anyway, okay, yeah, there's enough of that. Outro. Go on, outro machine.
Yeah, so yeah, thank you for listening to this review of How the Grinch Stole Christmas. We are, of course, doing it because of the upcoming, I believe it's just called The Grinch movie, new animation.
I think it might also be a Dr. Seuss's The Grinch, actually.
Alright, Dr. Seuss's The Grinch. Makes a huge difference. So yeah. Thank you for listening. We've been selecting and reflecting on How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Have you been Michael?
I've been Michael.
And I've been Luke. Join us next week for... What have we got next week, Michael?
I know this. Oh, that's interesting. I'm kind of excited for this one. Fantastic Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts, yeah, because of the new Fantastic Beasts, The Crimes of Grindelwald, I believe that's what it's called.
Yeah, I wish we were reviewing Fantastic Beats.
Okay, goodbye.
You cut me off.
Yeah, I did.
You could have done a rapid outro. I'm afraid to say it's time we went away. Join us the next day for some magic coming your way.